What's up, Yu-Gi-Oh players? This is Cresta here to talk about the ILMOS questions that have been floating around and such. So, first off, I want to say about ILMOS that I actually don't really think it's that good this format. Ironically, I not having too much faith in the deck, but it's still a very good, very fun deck. Don't get me wrong. Just that, you know, like every deck, it kind of gets like outclassed by the power creep that Yu-Gi-Oh goes through. So the format nowadays is Shaddolls, Nutellaknights, Burning Abyss. Okay, so versus Shaddolls, if they have out Winda, it's hard to get past it sometimes because, you know, the deck relies on special summoning a 4, normal summoning a 4, and making a rank 4. Making it so that if I special summon like Thrasher or Kakutokage, I can't go into Arc or Castel, and that makes it difficult to get past it. Another way to get past it is Hanzo with the Ninjutsu Art transformation, and if I transform with their monster, they get back to Shadow Fusion, so I don't really minus them as much as I'd like to. And they get their effects off if I transform with their little homies, so like it's not, again, a not good plus. So it's kind of hard, which is why the deck compensates by playing Fossil Dyna, Vandy's, and Triple D Prison, if you've seen the last build I have made. So yeah, I mean the deck can still win against Shaddolls, it's just not as easy. Oh, and the deck relies a lot on making rank 4s, like a lot. So that's like almost their only real win condition. So Shadow Fusion gets its deck milling powers more often. Again, the deck can still win. It's just not as easy as last format. Versus Burning Abyss, well, play these is a really big problem for the deck, I'm not gonna lie, because again, rank 4s, I make it back into the extra deck it goes. And the deck doesn't really minus that easily, because everything they do pluses. So if you guys want to play against Burning Abyss, when they summon Tour Guide, bring out their Burning Abyss guy. Ninjutsu Art the Burning Abyss guy, so they can't special more Burning Abysses from their hand to make a rank 3. And Tour Guide's flip in attack mode, so you can smack her face off. Have Hyper Hammerhead to attack into a defense mode Dante's, so it goes back to the extra deck. Hyper Hammerhead's probably the MVP versus Burning Abyss, because they want to go to the graveyard, not back to the extra deck or hand. And yeah, Hanzo's good to get rid of the Tour Guides. Fossil Dyna is the MVP actually, never mind about Hyper Hammerhead, Fossil Dyna. Well, Fossil Dyna is the MVP if they don't have their system up, and Hyper Hammerhead's the MVP if they do have their system up. Well, what was the last other deck? Nutellaknights! Actually, I think the deck has a pretty good match against Nutellaknights if their counter trap doesn't like screw you over and such. You just have to play smart against Nutellaknights, because it's basically rank 4 spam deck versus rank 4 spam deck. It's kind of sort of like a mirror match, except not really. You just have to be a better rank 4 player than they are. What else? Getting Zings is actually not that hard of a matchup. I mean, don't attack into their monsters, ever. You black ship them, Castel them, Ninja Swart them, whatever. I mean, you plus faster than they do. You can Tiramisu them too, easy. Essentially, just the only time you will ever attack is when you kill their synchro with your trap cards, assuming they didn't use the blue guy. And if they do use the blue guy, then make 1/1 and then attack them. It's not that hard. Basically, it's a game of how patient you can be. Be very, very patient versus Gang Zings. I think that basically fills up the 4 decks of the format. Now, for the questions. People have been asking me about playing Nutellaknights in ILMOS because, excuse me, Deneb is the Stratos, and you know, Stratos is with the theme of ILMOS. The reason why I don't put ILMOS with Nutellaknights is mean, this Nutellaknights in ILMOS, my bad, is because the way the deck kind of plays. So let me just break it down. You summon Deneb, add Altair, and then Deneb dies. Next turn, you summon Altair, bring back Deneb, search out Altair, make a rank 4, but you cannot attack that turn unless you drop Kago to make Deltaros. But moving on, that's like the only time really that's useful. So you search out another Altair. Basically the only really useful target for Deneb to search out in this deck within ILMOS is either another Altair or, if you decide to, Vega. But Kago kind of outclasses Vega in terms of usability in ILMOS. Sham doesn't really go with like the plusy themey of ILMOS, and Uka doesn't really do anything for the deck. So the only real cards you would be playing for Deneb searching is Vega, which I don't think is good in ILMOS, or Altair, which is basically really is the only thing you can search out for in ILMOS to help help the theme. The thing with that is that when you summon Deneb, get Altair, okay, sure, search out another Altair. The thing about it is that one Deneb is basically all you ever need to draw onto. Like, and because you're gonna spam that single Deneb. If you have multiple copies of Deneb, it's basically useless because you have your Altair search out your Deneb to search out another Altair. Another thing is that because that loop is existent in the deck, you're not gonna ever summon anything else besides Altair ever. Like, you're gonna find yourself doing that because you just always have that. So the Magiline's kind of like in that kind of sense. The Murmelows are good, but like you're just gonna find yourself summoning Altair more often because you're gonna try to get past their monsters with your rank 4. And you're not going to be summoning Hanzo as often as you used to because, you know, you're just going through that loop. So, like, really, it's basically Nutellaknight splashing other cards. It's not really, doesn't really help the protectiveness of the deck. I have actually tried putting Nutellaknights in ILMOS by taking out the Hanzo engine. And because it's too many engines, like right there, ILMOS is basically perfect with 3 engines. So when I did that, it was Nutellaknights, Madoshe, and Traptrix. But I've never actually summoned a single Madoshe because the Deneb engine keeps circling. And then the Murmelows, it happens every now and then, but it's like, it felt like a splash engine rather than the main engine. So it didn't feel like ILMOS anymore. Like, ILMOS is a deck that you summon a monster to get a back row to protect the monster, and then you rank up, or you go to rank 4, and then you attack, and you know, do stuff. Then you know, just go on from there. With Nutellaknights, there is kind of no interaction between the opponent and the main and the deck. And you could take out the Madoshe engine and then have Hanzo, Traptrix, and Nutellaknights, but it just doesn't flow well. I tried, and it just, in the long run, it just would have been a much better deck if I just took out the ILMOS and just made Nutellaknights and then, you know, work from there. So the result of that, of like my attempt to make ILMOS with Nutellaknights, basically just transform the deck into Nutellaknight Chaos, which if you click here, you can see like the deck that I came up with in an attempt to do that. And it's just, it wasn't ILMOS anymore, it was just Nutellaknight Chaos with the Traptrix engine. Yeah, it's not really ILMOS. So if you guys want to play ILMOS with Nutellaknights, click the video and have fun with that. It's still basically just as good, I mean, I'd say. It's just less trap heavy and more combo wombo based. So yeah, so people use my ILMOS deck profiles as like the optimal build, because like I'm the guy who created the deck, and so they think like the OG guy who makes it knows the deck best. See, that's a flawed logic actually, because I don't get that much playtesting, sadly, because I live in an area without a locals for, like, the closest local is like 30 minutes away, and I only go there for like regionals and such. So I don't have as much playtesting as I'd like to. I go on DN and play, but like, it's really not the same. And so everything I do, it's all theory. It's just pure 100% theorio. No actual playtesting. I mean, sure, I'm like decent with the theorioing, but it's not optimal. And plus, I don't have a lot of cards. Quite literally, all the cards I have are just cards I've once upon a time used in my deck. That's really it. I don't have like the ultimate side deck cards like Stick and Dirge. I don't have Shout Prising Mirrors or Light Prising Mirrors. Just all like leftover stuff that I once had once upon a time. So the deck profiles I make are just out of the cards I have. That's really it. And this is all like lone stuff. Like, if some other guy making an ILMOS deck probably has a better knowledge of the deck than I do, because he actually had like a lot of playtesting and such. So just don't stick with like 100% my deck profiles. Make it your own. Use your meta call, use your instincts, and use your cards that you have. Like, for example, I don't have a Compulse. I just don't. I don't know why. I just don't. I would put Compulse in my deck, but I just don't have one. So, you know, if you see my deck profile without a Compulse, then it's just put it in your deck if you have it. Basically, it's a good card. It's like really good this format, and helps with like a lot of the matchups. I just don't have one, so you know, go figure. Anyway, I think that's all I have to say about ILMOS now. So if you guys play ILMOS, then there's my 1-2, and thank you so much for playing the deck. It really means a lot that you see my decks and then you just make it your own. And yeah, if you play the deck, then leave a comment down below saying, yeah, I made the deck and I love it, and everybody just tell me how your locals thinks about it. And your changes in your version of ILMOS, you know, like, if there's a card that you play that you think that makes the deck better, let me know. Because the only way I can edit ILMOS is by using the cards that I have already in hand. So if you know something cool, let me know, and then I'll try to figure out how to incorporate that into my deck, and thus we can just like swap ideas and such. Yeah. So, creo que eso es